What's up, Buttercup? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Nicole and I'm a booktuber and author tuber. And today, this video, it's not related to either of those things, but I wanted to share my 12 favorite history-focused YouTube channels because I'm getting a lot of people asking for recommendations, so I'm just going to share them in one video, and I'm going to just briefly go over why I enjoyed them. And whenever I talk about a channel, their picture will be right here. As of October 2025, these are my all-time favorite. So let's jump in. Number one, wow, History Tea Time with Lindsay Holiday. Love her style. She is a fantastic researcher and she really does all things royals, and she is also getting into American history as well. We love to see it. Number two, Dan Snow's History Hit. He is quite well known. This is actually a podcast. He runs, I don't know if he owns it, but he runs and maybe owns History Hit, which we'll talk about later. But Dan Snow's History Hit, it's a podcast with him interviewing other historians, and it's a very wide range of topics. Number three, Tasting History with Max Miller. Chef's kiss, no notes. Max Miller is perfection. I watch every single video he puts out, and his channel is all about recipes that are old, sometimes ancient, and he'll find recipes from all across the world and then do those recipes in front of everyone, and he talks about the history behind the recipe, where it's from, so on and so forth. And I own his Tasting History cookbook, and I'm really excited to get into some of the easier ones because there's a lot of older or ancient recipes that takes a really long time. I'm not interested in that. But yeah, so I have to kind of go through the recipes in his book or just like even on his channel to do the recipes that are less than 5 hours long. Because yeah, like I said, a lot of them take a long time or many days, and some of them weeks, months, years. Max is dedicated. Yes, he is. Number four, Alternate History Hub. This channel used to put out a lot of videos, but now they've calmed down a little bit. Calmed down. I don't know why I said that. They don't do like as much. However, huge backlog, and really the title says it all. It's alternative history. So like, what would happen if fill in the blank? And my husband actually introduced me to that channel, and we watch it on occasion, especially when the new videos come out. It's a fun activity we do together. Number five, Bart D. Ehrman. Now, some might say that this isn't history focused. I would say yes, because it is about the Bible. He is an expert in the Bible, and there's a lot of history involved there. So you could say history / theology. And I was also introduced to Bart by my husband. We watched the Great Courses together when he had a great course on the life of Jesus. And then there's another, I forget the title, but it's basically about the New Testament. We watched that together a couple years ago, and I really enjoy Bart. I've read a couple of his nonfiction books, and I want to read other books by Bart. But if you're not like interested or maybe wary about buying something from him, like the many nonfiction books that he has out, then definitely try out his channel. It's for free, and then you can get a taste of how he writes, talks, the topics, so on and so forth. I think he's really cool, and he has a lot of information on Christianity. Number six, Bernadette Banner. She is a fantastic seamstress, and I forget I'm sure there's a word or a phrase of what she does. She does a lot of clothing, history, accessories, how people dressed, how people lived in their clothing, and how to create it. Love her. She is so stylish, and I just find it really fascinating to talk about, for example, corsets, because there's a lot of misinformation and even disinformation about corsets. But she has a bunch of videos on corsets, and then also things about shoes and jewelry and perfume, and it's just really fascinating. Love her. Number 7, Dan Davis History. Dan mainly focuses on ancient times, and I think that's really fascinating because that's often forgotten about. Not so much, I guess, not in a negative way. It's just there's not a lot of information that we have on, say, 1000 BCE Ireland. But I think he really digs deep and gives us enough information where it's like really fascinating. And his videos aren't terribly long. Well, some of them are, but they're not like 6 minutes type of thing. So I think it's a good length for the topic. Number 8, Fortress of Lou. This is another channel that really focuses on ancient history, specifically the Celts, but he also goes into other ancient civilizations and societies, and we do love to see that. But yes, it's mainly Celtic, if you couldn't already tell from the picture and the name Lou, because that is a Celtic name. Number 9, we're going into History Hit. This is where Dan Snow really shines. It's a pretty old channel, but it holds a lot of documentaries and interviews, mainly about Europe and a little bit of the United States, but it's mainly a European focused history channel. But I think it is really well done, and they are really doing a great job pulling in younger generations to make history fun. Number 10, Irish History Podcast. I think it says it all. Of course, I have a bunch of YouTube channels about Ireland. I'm not obsessed. Maybe I am. But he really does a fantastic job. He's on a high of the Irish famine, what was happening during that time in Ireland, of course, but also in the United States, because a lot of Irish people fled Ireland to the United States because of the potato famine. He does other things as well, but just like a lot of history-focused channels, and I'm sure other channels as well on YouTube, you get into a groove, especially like a research groove, and you just kind of focus on one lane for a while. That's not to say that that's good or bad. I think it's cool, but just to let everyone know watching, he and a bunch of other people on this list, they have a focus, and they'll do like a bunch of videos in a row, and then they'll shift focus, and that's a normal thing for history focused YouTube channels. Number 11, Karolina Zebrowska. I'm so sorry if I got that last name wrong, Carolina. But she is kind of similar to Bernadette Banner. She talks a lot about fashion, clothing, accessories, jewelry, and then she also has a podcast where she talks specifically about certain countries or people in those countries, like royals or the elite, or even what peasants were doing in, let's say, 1778 Poland. Like, it's really fascinating. Wide range from Carolina. And finally, number 12, Mythology and Fiction Explained. This has to do, well, with the title, mythology and fiction, merging those two together. And, well, sometimes separating. But a lot of fiction is based on mythology, legends, lore, so on and so forth. So I really enjoy this one. You get a lot of information from this channel, and I really enjoy the depth that goes into all of these videos. Quite a few of them are very long, but you know, if you have like a long road trip or you're bored or just want knowledge. I think it's a great resource when it comes to mythology, legends, lore, so on and so forth. Though, of course, please do note that basically with 99% of the mythologies and lore and legends out there, there are multiple versions, especially when you get really, really, really old mythology, lore, legends. So there are times where people will say, oh, that's not the correct lore for Athena. It is, because there's like 4 other ways you can tell the story of Athena. So just keep that in mind. And it could be a learning curve for some people getting into mythology specifically. But yeah, there's going to be different versions for like 99% of the mythology out there because it's old. People rewrite history, so on and so forth. But I think this person does a great job showcasing that. Thank you so much for watching my favorite history-focused YouTube channels. And I, of course, if I didn't say that already, did I? I recommend all 12 of these channels. And if I happen upon a bunch more in the future, I'll do another recommendation video. All of the information about these 12 channels are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching and have a great history day. Bye.